Hey guys, how you doing today? Doing this one outside today, just because I wanted to be outside today. Kind of windy, so sorry if the audio is a little windswept. So Doug Ford's signaling that the economy is going to be reopening, i.e., we're going to continue selling ourselves to the capitalist death cult. Retailers, get ready. This, of course, 2 days after he calls the people protesting for this very thing a bunch of yahoos. I mean, the hypocritical cowardice of this person, right? And the propagandists saying like, oh, hey, Doug Ford, this crisis is revealed. Oh, he's such a different person. He slipped over a new leaf. No, he hasn't. Anyone can look like this, right? Look, I'm doing it now, right? And read off a cue card. Anybody can do that, right? It doesn't mean he's flipped over a new leaf. Doesn't mean he's a changed person. He's waging a class war against the working class. He's happy to do it. Behind the scenes, I guarantee he's laughing and getting slapped on the back by his billionaire owners. The second wave, that the reopening of the economy, what a nonsense phrase that is. The continued exploitation and extraction of wealth from the populace for the benefit of the billionaire class. The reopening of the economy, the selling of the populace is going to create a second wave. People are careless, right? They're not going to, as they forget about how critical it is to maintain social distancing and how critical it is to actually do what needs to be done in order to keep this virus at bay, because that's how humans are, right? They forget. Humans can't be like this the whole time unless they're literally being paid for it, which we're not. We're not being paid for that. We're being paid to show up, put on some masks, some gloves, spray some stuff down. And there's going to be slip-ups. There's going to be people that aren't able to adhere to this sort of rigid regiment or just forget, right? That's how people are. That's how it works. And so the second wave of this pandemic is going to be, I mean, when it happened during the Spanish influenza, it got 10 times worse, right? Imagine what we're going through now, but 10 times worse. And so my question to our leadership, if you want to call them that, is what's the plan when that happens? When your idiotic desire to reopen the economy like a bunch of yahoos blows up in your face and you're revealed to be the complicit death cultists that you completely are. What's the plan? I know exactly what the plan is. The plan is to continue selling the society to the capitalist death cult. That's the plan. There's no recovery plan for workers. There's no plan to help workers. If there was a plan to help workers, it would have already happened, right? What happened when this all unfolded was we got a tease at, oh, hey, look, we could pass a basic income. We're not going to, but we could, for a couple of months while the political class got their ducks in a row so that they could hand the society back over to the death cultists to continue extracting us until we are exhausted. And now they're just straight up throwing their hands up and being like, well, if some workers die, it's not a problem. We'll be gated in our communities and safe in our private vistas and villas. We don't have to care about those dirty workers. Who cares about them? Back to work. They're just a bunch of welfare slackers anyway, right? The absolute disrespect I mean, what do you expect from death cultists, from people who don't value human life? And Doug Ford is, in my view, just at the apex of this. Like anyone who's going to tell me that, oh, he's what a statesman, like, fuck you, you're a gullible idiot. Like, you've just bought into just like the most gullible possible narrative that you could possibly be. Literally, the guy just stands in front of you with puppy dog eyes and reads off a cue card, and you just are like, oh wow, he's such a different person. Wow, here's a guy I could really get behind while he wages a war on the working class. Here's a guy who really, oh man, what a leader, while he destroys any civil institution and ensures that the society is handed over to a death cultist that will abandon you the second they possibly can. Boy, like, this is how gullible and stupid Canadians are, right? Like, what's being revealed to me through this pandemic is not only that we are ruled by a death cult, without a doubt, but that millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of Canadians are just extremely gullible, like extremely gullible. The absolute stupidity of believing that, oh well, Karen needs her hair cut, so let's force a bunch of workers to make that happen for her, and that there's going to be no consequences for it. It's not only a disrespect of the working people, it's a complete disrespect of nature itself. In biblical terms, you are evoking the wrath of God. And the reality is that these billionaires don't care, right? They are just trying to squeeze as much blood as they possibly can out of the stone before it crumbles in their fist, right? They don't care. And if the society suddenly like implodes and blows away in the wind, like, they'll just move on to another one. They're parasites, right? They're just going to continue exploiting who they can and where they can. And they don't care if these places disintegrate into civil unrest or anything like that. They don't care at all, right? And in fact, that's part of the structure. The whole idea is that they build a structure, right, that's designed to exploit and extract for their own benefit. And when that structure implodes, then they benefit from the implosion of that structure, i.e. the misery of everyone, because they buy assets on the cheap then. So they get it both ways. When times are quote unquote good, they just extract the benefit of our surplus labor. And when times are bad, they buy up cheap assets so that they can jack up rents, right? That's exactly what's happening. That here in Canada, it won't be as bad as down in the States, but it's going to be the same procedure, right? We scratch our heads and wonder why rent is going up. It's because billionaires are buying all the property and sitting on it. Because people don't respect the massive distortions that even a single billionaire can have. People don't actually pause and think like, oh, like, if you have $1 billion, that means that you can hire, like, let's say having a full-time lawyer is $100,000 annually, right? If you make $1 million a year, that's a lot of money, right? Having a lawyer just on retainer, $100,000 a year, that's 10% of what you made that year. That's a lot, right? You're going to have to make sure that having that lawyer on retainer is really valuable for you and that he's doing really, really good work. And even then, like, one lawyer, like, you're going to have to kind of keep everything above board, right? Do what you can, you know, and even then, right? Oh man, I guess that's the cost of doing business, you know, $100,000 for a lawyer, 10% of my earnings. If you make $1 billion in a year, one lawyer at $100,000 is not even a single percentage point. You can have 10 lawyers on retainer, $100,000 a year. It's not even a percentage point for you, right? You're not even realizing it. And if you've got that kind of legal manipulation behind you with $1 billion, right? You can do what you want, right? You can do what you want. And these lawyers are there to sort of make sure that you're well protected and that you can funnel all your illegal, illicit activities through all kinds of shell companies and shadow companies and things like this to ensure that, oh, your hands will never be tied to these illegal, illicit activities, and of which we know happen and which we know exist. And I'm to the point now where I'm saying, like, people want to say that, oh, that's what's happening is stupidity, or what's happening is incompetence, or negligence is a good one. I'm to the point now where I'm saying absolutely not. The people who are in power, the billionaire class, are sociopaths. They want to hurt people. That's what they want to do. They're not sitting there stupidly making mistakes that hurt us. They are actively pondering, how do they hurt us? How can they cause pain? How can they get away with murdering people? That's what they want to do. And it's obvious. Like, it's obvious at this point. I think you have to be a complete gullible stooge to think otherwise at this point. The working class in this country is being ground down by a fascist boot. And at the tip, the tip of the top, the person wearing that boot is the billionaire class, who is pressuring our cowardly politicians into not doing the right thing. At first, I thought the Liberals were willing to actually go along and do the right thing and pass a basic income and make the lives of the majority of Canadians much better. But it looks like, no, these are going to be temporary measures that these hack politicians who work for the billionaire class are absolutely going to withdraw from the society. Because the capitalists know the game is up. They know the game is up. They know that we're onto them. They know that we see them as sociopaths now. They're not interested in building a civil society. They're interested in extracting wealth from the society. That's all they're interested in doing. They're interested in enslaving the society. That's what they're there to do. If you vote conservative in the next election, I think you're a piece of shit. Honestly, I really do. Like, come talk to me. We'll have a fist fight about it. You're a piece of garbage. If you are voting liberal, I think you're just gullible. I think you're just delusional and gullible, and I think you've just bought into the pretty man with the moistly haircut and the swooping hair and all that nonsense. I think at this stage in the game, the only thing to do, like here in Canada, we're very fortunate. We have an actual political structure that works. I think the only thing to do is to vote NDP or Green next election, or independent if you choose. But I think if you're voting for the Conservative Liberal Party, I think at best you're gullible, and at worst you're a sociopathic piece of trash. Yeah. So, prepare for the second wave. It's coming, and it's going to be vicious. Good luck out there.